Yes, in Monaco, surprisingly trouble-free trip so far. The only question I was asked as I went through immigration in France was, what city do you live? And that was it. Didn't even want to see a COVID test result. Anyway, that to one side. We're in Monaco, and Charles Leclerc is on the pole for Ferrari of his home Grand Prix, and it is Monaco, amazing. We said on Thursday, big exclamation mark, Ferrari 1-2. And there were a lot of question marks, I think. A lot of people were saying, oh yeah, but that was only Thursday, it's going to be different on Saturday. Well, that pace translated into real pace today from Charles. I love the way he built up to it as well. He wasn't that quick in FP3. He was okay in Q1, but you could see that it was coming, the lap was coming. And it was at the beginning of Q3, of course, that he did that pole lap. It was a lap that I kind of described, I think, on Thursday. Lots of early turn-in, lots of great commitment, particularly at the top of the hill, going into Casino Square, particularly going into the swimming pool as well. Just fabulous to watch through there. But then on the second run, and he said later that he was pretty emotional at that moment because, of course, he was on the pole, potential pole. He got quite emotional, and I think he just lost concentration because he did what Ayrton did, didn't he? He hit an apex. Ayrton did it at Le Portier all those years ago, and then he just hit the apex guardrail, which is a basic error. And once you've done that in that section of road, there are so many bits you can hit from curb to guardrail, forget it. And so this bizarre ending, and I suppose there are going to be sort of Michael Schumacher fans or non-fans out there saying, it was just like Michael, stop it, or Nico for that matter. Yeah, Nico. Stop it, whilst Max is on a lap and Lewis is on a lap. But, and Max might have got the pole, there's no doubt about that. Lewis was green and had gone yellow in sector 2 at that point, so whether or not it would have been a lap for Lewis is another matter. But Charles sitting there in the crash Ferrari, we'll talk about the crash in a minute, how much damage there may or may not be, knowing he got the pole for Monaco. So talk about bittersweet. This was the ultimate moment. Yeah, in terms of crash damage, if it's the gearbox, that could be an issue. But it did sort of go in frontish, I think. Slightly optimistic view. Let's hope that it is okay and they can repair the car and he can take his position on the pole for tomorrow's race, which will be an amazing thing, really. If you think of where Ferrari were last year, where Formula One is at the moment, sort of heading down the road of another Lewis championship, Max trying to keep the momentum going. We've got Ferrari suddenly coming in with all this pace around the Principality. Just wonderful to see. And Carlos Sainz, I'm going to say backing him up with P4. He won't be happy with P4. He will think that was a pole-winning car. But, Charles he's got all this finesse. He's got this early commitment. And at the end of the day, Carlos Sainz is a relatively long corner, late apexy, reflexy driver. And that's the sort of lap time he's going to do. He will be in very good shape for the race tomorrow, I predict, Carlos Sainz. He looks to be in a position to put together a really good race rhythm around the car and everything he's done. We saw that with some of the longer runs this morning as well. So Carlos Sainz by no means out of it. Max is second, thinking he might have been on the pole, so let's think that as well. Red Bull right there, Red Bull Honda. They're going to be on the dirty side of the grid, so the odds of him getting the lead from Charles, relatively small, smaller than normal, certainly smaller than they were in Barcelona, that's for sure, here at Monaco. And P3, Valtteri Bottas, who sort of went out and did the Mercedes job that he always does, with the difference that Lewis was nowhere today. He didn't show massive pace in Q2, and you were thinking a little bit like Charles that it would be Q3 when he put that pole lap together, or a lap there or thereabouts on the pole. But it never really happened for Lewis. In the first run, he got traffic. He wasn't comfortable with the way the tyres had come in. He was going pretty well, as I say, on that second run. But he had gone yellow in sector 2. So whether it would have been a pole lap, he would have been up there probably around P2, P3 with Valtteri. But he isn't. He's P7. And that means he's way down behind the sort of Lando Norris, Carlos Sainz, Pierre Gasly group. And that's going to be pretty frenetic as in the first half of the race, that is for sure. And there's not much you can do on strategy either. Everybody's starting on the soft tyre. So for Lewis, it's going to be a wait and see, let's be patient race. He won't be comfortable with that. But these things, he's had a very good run so far. I guess that's what one has to say. Lando Norris, another great job from McLaren Mercedes. Half a second quicker than Daniel Ricciardo in the same car around Monaco. The Daniel who is really quick around Monaco, who's won the Monaco Grand Prix in a Red Bull. For Lando Norris, this is maybe the biggest moment of his career so far, I would suggest. Just a fabulous lap. Every time he was out, whether it was Thursday or today, he looked absolutely on top of things, really driving well. Pierre Gasly 6th, another great drive from Pierre in the AlphaTauri Honda on a day when Yuki Tsunoda didn't get out of Q1, and Sebastian Vettel again driving well in the Aston Martin. He looked pretty good on Thursday and continuing that steady work pace that he's now developing with that new team. Sergio Perez disappointing 9th in the other Red Bull Honda. He will say he was on a quick lap when Charles hit the wall. But P10, big shout out for Antonio Giovinazzi. And Alfa Romeo made it through to Q3, and it was Antonio who did the job. Really good lap from him. Kimi wasn't that far behind. He had a good day. It was a generally good day for Alfa Romeo. It was good for Alfa as it was indeed bad for Alpine, because Fernando Alonso didn't make it out of Q1 and Esteban Ocon didn't make it out of Q2. Final bit of news concerned another driver who put a Ferrari on the pole at Monaco, Carlos Reutemann on the pole in 78, who is now back home. 2 operations. He's been in intensive care for quite a long time, but he's back home. So Carlos, great news. Okay, that's it. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow.